Equipment and laboratory space are not always necessary for research. At its core, a researcher is just someone who is nosy, inquisitive, and determined enough to want to gain insight into what's going on, how a system functions, or how many, how much, where, when, and by whom. Essentially, there are two categories of research. One, research that is descriptive. This entails documenting events as they occur. Pen and paper are required, though a computer or calculator could be useful for adding and tabulating the findings. For instance, how many residents of my village are disabled? How many adults, kids, women, and men are there? What circumstances existed for them? What kind of treatment did they receive? When did they visit a hospital or clinic? Times and dates. For example, how common is nail biting at my child's school? Does gender matter when it comes to boys and girls from various ages? How many kids receive assistance in breaking the habit? Through what channels? 2. Investigative science. This frequently results from inquiries formulated through descriptive study while accounting for other data. For instance, what would take place if we altered the temperature, altitude, location, time, and so on? It may entail taking numerous photographs of the same object at various periods, comparing data from various sources, or using various methodologies. It mostly entails making a change and assessing the result. For example, would having a trained first aider in every business or school lessen the impact for accidents involving coworkers? What would happen if we made a change? That's where experimental research starts. Procedures for formulating studies. Generalizations of research initiatives at various levels can have a lot of exceptions. Experimental tactics are probably going to be restricted to investigative techniques when it comes to archaeological topics. The majority of a study of box compositions will probably be descriptive. The numbers of nail biters in various schools can be compared, and the efficacy of various therapies to break the behavior can then be experimentally altered. Opportunities for both observational and experimental techniques could exist at every level. Step 1. Choosing potential work areas. List the main subjects you have studied in the past and that you thought were fascinating first. Within your modules or assignments, look for subheadings. Try to come up with a list of roughly 20. Step 2. Making fewer selections. Examine the college application form and any additional forms provided by the research school, then set them aside. This will enable your subconscious to utilize the structure. Step 3. This study question or questions. You did a fantastic job answering Step 2. Excellent work. You now have to think more carefully about the questions you want to ask about your 3 topics. For every one of your 3 topics, use these question terms to create 1 primary subject and up to 6 subsidiary questions. Make an effort to formulate your questions so that they can be used to apply a research process, as opposed to being the statement of an illogically formed viewpoint. Craft your inquiries such that they express a single concept. Once more, review each of your questions and include a single phrase that succinctly explains a method or strategy that may be employed to provide an answer, such as questionnaire, interview, etc. Step 4. It's your turn to respond to inquiries. You have made significant progress in a little period of time by condensing a large field into just 3 options. But before you eventually narrow it down to just 1, be able to accommodate for the possibility that you'll need to make changes to all or some of these areas. Step 5. Your suggestion, organization and flow. When creating a presentation, study proposal, or research report, you must determine which information organizing method works best for you. The amount of sections you utilize depends on how many points you can recall. Step 6. Completing the forms. The registration requirements for research vary throughout academic institutions. However, in addition to the research guidelines, you can receive the following 4 forms. A quick first registration form. This necessitates a topic outline, problem statement, principal research questions, no in excess of 3 or 4, potential approaches, most likely data sources, potential results. Using this data, a supervisor with similar research interests will be found. A form for risk assessment. If you are going to be working in hazardous environments, this will be provided to you. It is necessary to classify and prioritize risks, consider who could be affected and how, assess preventative measures, and develop safety strategies. an ethics certificate. If you conduct psychological, sociological, or animal experimentation in your work, this will be required. Form for complete research proposal. This one is the most difficult one. You'll be informed of how many words to include, a review of the literature, an evaluation of the problem or problems to be solved, a critical synopsis of the approaches to be used, analytical techniques, and potentially a timeline, bar chart, outlining all the steps to be taken are all included. Your project should not be written in the format that it will appear behind the blue covers. For example, you can write the Materials and Procedures section as soon as your investigation procedures are started. When your work is done, you'll probably revise your introduction the most, because only then will you be able to see what you are promoting. As you proceed, make sure your references are accurate, so first choose the approach you will take to provide them. Listing such at the end is made simple by keeping them alphabetical. Lastly, you will read the whole report to ensure that all references are referenced in the text and that all literature citations are included. Final thesis. The title page, acknowledgments, and other sections that appear at the start of a thesis should be written when you have writer's block, which you most likely will. Although you can work on the content simultaneously, the page numbers will update as you write. From the moment as you start your research, write the methods section. If you are experiencing writer's block, write the introductory pages, title, dedication, etc. They might be written later, though. Maintain careful records of references. If not, attempting to track out missing references could take hours or even days of your time. Maintaining all of your sources in the format specified by the university for a doctoral thesis or the chosen journal for publication is crucial, like the Harvard format. Numerous free files are available to assist in maintaining a reference list. As you acquire ideas, make notes in sections using bullet points. Information can be rearranged afterwards to guarantee that section lengths are balanced. Throughout the course of your assignment, keep an eye out for newly published material. Next, compose the discussion, results, and conclusions. Verify that all references are cited after the discussion and conclusions, and that you have not cited any sources that are not mentioned in the final list. Include a page with ideas for more research after the conclusions. Finally, draft and refine the introduction. You will not understand what you are launching until the remaining portion of the report has been prepared.